Hello, what is up? This is your buddy Alertwolf here to bring you another anime review. This time it's on Majestic Prince, episode 14. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of their ships. It's AHSMB's Shadow. Now let me explain to you right now what is happening about this episode. Alright, so this episode opens up with a scene eerily reminiscent to one of my favorite scenes from the Spider-Man show that was on Fox back in the day, in the 90s. And that is a scene of he's running from his rival's mecha, the bad guy's white mecha, you know, in his dream world. He's running, and then he sees his own mecha, which is red, I might add. Obviously, because he read 5 that I'm talking about. I'm sorry, Izuru, you know. He gets grabbed by his own mecha and gets eaten by it. And then he wakes up. And if those of you who don't remember, you know, the Spider-Man Venom thing from that old school Spider-Man show from the 90s, where his costume and the Venom costume were fighting over, and the Venom costume wins in that one, but you get my point. And it eats him. That was almost scene for scene the same, you know, with the exception of 2 robots versus like Spider-Man. But you get what I'm talking about here. So let me break down this episode. Basically, there's the smidgen in the beginning, which is the dream, which was amazing. Which is like a 5 out of 5. Perfect. That scene was great. And it's a very telling scene because it foreshadows to the second half of the episode. Alright. Now the first half of the episode is just getting to know the new pilot. It's more of them being them. Now one thing I'm going to note, this, you know, and I believe I said it in the last review, but I'm going to reiterate it, I guess, is Black 6. Forget the fact that they don't know if he's a boy or a girl or not. He's androgynous. He needs the team to give him his humanity. Because he was always, you know, he explains it that he always trains alone and he's an outsider. And he's pretty much a genius. And throughout this, we get understanding of his skill set. And he's kind of better at them, at the stuff they're good at, for the most part. And as he goes through them one by one and beats them on different things. Not all of them, but some of them. But he doesn't, since his robot is repaired by an automated bay, and he's his own technician as to modify the specs, he really doesn't have his pit crew grounding him. The others have a pit crew that ground them to their humanity. And these guys have, even though they should be weapons, have never really acted like weapons. Which is why I really like the show, I might add. However, Black 6 doesn't have anybody in his life to anchor him down. He doesn't have a pit crew to anchor him down. So, and especially when he goes into berserker mode. So what anchors this guy, because he's a loner, he's a genius, he's a weirdo. So it is up to the team to anchor him in his humanity, or else he could lose it. And in this episode, in the first episode of the episode, that's what that's about. Them trying to bond with him, thus giving him his humanity. Now, I went deep on you with that analysis for the first half of the episode, but really, you know, if we want to be superficial, it's just funny scenes with the new guy and getting to know his lighter personality better. Which, you know, there's some funny scenes in there. That, I'm gonna, you know, that part of the episode may be a 3. So, then we get to the second half of the episode. They get a mission. Basically, Team Doberman was run on a cargo ship that got shot down in enemy territory, and they need to send somebody there. I guess they didn't have their mecha, and, you know, they weren't able to fight. So they need to send somebody there, obviously, to retrieve them and to repair their ship. This is a rescue mission, and there was no signs of the enemy. they go in lightly armed to rescue. But as that foreshadowing in the beginning of the episode entailed, he was going to encounter that white mecha, and he does. The Woogaroos show up, and it's the prince. Now there is a scene. Let me back it up for a second. There is a scene that we do get with the princess and our boy from Red 5 talking, and she makes him promise to always come back regardless of what happens, because there's, you know, maybe a budding romance or something there, and love triangle and all that. But back to the battle. So immediately Black 5, because of the skill level of the white leader, he goes full-on berserker mode. But regardless of how badass he is in berserker mode, he really can't hold a candle to the white mecha, and he seemingly, he's just outclassed. And then Red steps up to fight. Meanwhile, we have our two our two horny bachelors, so to speak, and bachelorettes, which is Gold and Pink. They're repairing the ship, and the Doberman guys are itching to get into the battle. Too bad they don't have their mecha. But so basically, Red steps up and starts fighting. Now something in him, it's almost like he goes to his berserker mode, but he doesn't. He goes to his full potential, I think, and he fights this guy like head on, super serious. Like his sync level goes through the roof, you know. And it's funny, I was worried he was going to be hesitant around this guy because he knows he's a humanoid, but no, full on. That's what that dream was about. And they start going completely like insane towards each other, and so he's so good and they're so good fighting each other that it literally, while Black 6 is in berserker mode, I don't know if he comes out of it, but he's just left speechless and unable to do anything but watch. And they go at it, which has been one of their better battles to speak of. And as they go at it, Red is pushing his mecha to the limit when finally it transforms. And I'm going to just call this hyper mode, you know? He transforms into hyper mode. He gets extra eyes. Now, we had seen this in the opening before, so it was great to see this happen. So he transforms, and he goes to, and they'd never seen anything like this, and he starts growing blue aura around him, and he goes to town and starts fighting. And then that brings out a transformation from white, and he turns purplish. He gets bigger, two swords, you know, he puts them together, and then they start going at it in his hyper mode. Now, I guess these hyper modes have time limits, or because if they continue in it for too long, on the human side, his mecha was being like overtaxed even in hyper mode, and it was breaking down on him, and he was almost left defenseless. When just then, Team Doberman's ship got repaired and they were able to fire back, just stopping the battle. But it's all good because White was at his limit too. Now White, he ran. I guess he ran out of energy doing that, and it makes sense because he went. His limit should have ended afterwards because it's like hitting Nas or something. He hit his turbo after, you know. So it was interesting, and now he's even more excited fighting his chosen hunted dude down, you know, for the next match. And the episode pretty much ends with them, you know, the battle ends and them retrieving everybody, and everybody, you know, goes home. But what an episode. For the second half of that episode was like a 5 out of 5 from the show. You know, seeing him go dark and transform and forcing the other dude to transform, all that stuff was excellent. However, I thought the beginning comedy stuff was about 3. So when you put A and B together, that brings the total score down to a 4, which is where I'm going to leave this episode at. And that's because the beginning part of this episode was amazing. The beginning scene anyway. The middle was okay. It wasn't okay, it was good, it was funny. I like the lighthearted stuff. That's one of the reasons why I watched this show. But the end half of the episode, and let me say, their sorties are feeling like a video game mission. And that's good. That's what I like to see. Like, I feel like I should be playing the game based on this, you know? But and if there is a video game, I'd love to play it. But that's enough out of me. I've talked too much about this episode. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is your buddy Alert Wolf signing out.